Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining this new episode of the A Bit of AI show. In the A Bit of AI show, we talk to people from all over the world about their careers in AI. We will talk about what they studied, what they're currently working on, and how they got to this point in their career. And today I'm talking to Priyanka about her life in AI. Hi everyone, and welcome to the A Bit of AI show. In the A Bit of AI show, we talk with people from all over the world about their life in AI. What do they actually do? What did they study? And what did they need to do to get into this point in their career? And today, I'm talking to Priyanka. Hi Priyanka, how are you doing?
Hey there. Hi guys. I'm good. I'm good. Glad
Thank
to be on your show talking of all things AI.
yeah, thank you so much for joining me. We actually know each other, I think, since the pandemic. You joined some
Yeah.
virtual conferences. I think you actually joined all the virtual conferences I've been organizing in the past years and are part of the global AI community.
Yeah.
So thank you, first of all, thank you all for that. But I know you, but our audience doesn't know you yet. So can you tell us who you are and what you do?
So I'm currently the AI IoT offering lead, so pre-sales and business leadership at Avanade. For the Southeast Asia region and also some part of growth markets. And yeah, so I solution deals for AI. I try to convince players to convert their data platform modernization projects to AI, add a bit of advanced analytics. And right now at Avanade, we are trying to increase the appetite of people to get more into AI with AI for sustainability, AI for accessibility kind of initiatives. Yeah, we have this a motto at Avanade to be like growing by a rate of more than 100% by 2025. So the footprint which we have right now, the goal is to kind of double it by 2025. So that's what all our efforts are concentrated now on. And not to mention, of course, encouraging more diversity in AI. So Avanade also has this initiative where we train people from autistic resource centers to make them a part of mainstream, and then try to get them to help in projects. So that is also one of the side initiatives which me and my fellow colleagues are leading at Avanade.
That is a lot of work, a lot of different things you are involved in. Um, Amazing. But can you tell me something like me and the audience don't know about you?
All right. So a lot of people think, getting into AI doesn't leave us with a lot of life, but that's not true. So I do a lot of origami. So I am a trained origami artist. I do a lot of paintings. So in my free time, that is how I like to unwind. That is how I choose to relax. And I am a trained classical vocal singer as well. So earlier I used to play a lot of instruments and all, which is totally Indian classical music. But right now, with my 3-year-old, 4-year-old daughter, I don't get a lot of time with that. But yeah, I mean, these are all the non-AI things which I like to do, which we routinely do, right? And yeah, so some of it I also photographed it for the MVP summit. So hopefully it features in the MVP summit video.
Oh, perfect. Okay, you do a lot of things. Yes. So can you tell me why you like the field of AI? Why are you passionate about it?
Right. So actually, I'm an engineering by, academic profession. So when I was doing my engineering in the last semester, we had a subject which was that the time termed as intelligent systems or expert systems, in which we have this predictive programming which could sort of help you answer questions, like have a questionnaire and then detect whether you have cough or cold or fever, that kind of thing. And that was also one of the prototypes we built for my final year thesis engineering project. So from that point of time onwards, I had this huge attraction towards, artificial intelligence. Of course, it was not termed AI that time. As I said, it was more of decision support systems or automated systems or robotics, as we termed it. And then, as I started my career, so from the first time onwards, I was always into programming. Microsoft was my client that time also. So yeah, Microsoft has always been very close to my heart. I was involved one or the other way working for projects with Microsoft. And then with all the attraction about, all the buzzwords about Azure. So Azure, that time it was very new in 2010, somewhere around we got into training for Azure, and then that sort of helped me gravitate towards cloud computing. Then I was put into projects for handling big data, Elasticsearch. And from then onwards, I began my journey into AI. And what, what really helped me and what really helped fuel my passion towards AI was the type of diverse questions it helped to answer. Like, spotting a small outlier in like probably terabytes of data, petabytes of data, being able to do sentiment analysis and gather sentiments which cannot be discerned by humans or by any sort of procedural programming automated systems. And then AI has been expanding into a lot of fields. So AI is in accessibility, in sustainability, in reducing your carbon footprints. And there were a few lectures which I attended which helped me shape my view about AI. So, for example, a lot of people saw AI as this nemesis wherein, AI is after your jobs or it is going to replace and the machines uprising and all those sci-fi things, right? But absolutely not. Like, there was someone who told me that AI is here to stay and we just need to upskill ourselves to be able to live with AI and then use AI for better. And then you have all these nice initiatives, right, where you are using AI to restore your lost paintings, and then AI for cultural heritage, and AI for helping people come up with the braille learning which Microsoft has launched, or AI for endangered species, where AI helps track the movements of the snow leopard and all of those things. So that has kind of fueled my passion more, and that is what I love about AI and the kind of answers it brings to questions which we think are unsolvable or we think are beyond our realms of imagination even.
Amazing. Um, you talked briefly about AI and accessibility. Have you done any work or projects into that?
Yes, absolutely. So I remember this hackathon which we had with Microsoft, right? So we were hacking alongside Microsoft employees, and one project which I had joined was for sign language. So converting text to sign language real time, and that was one part of AI for accessibility which we had done. And then again, as I said, right, Avanad has this initiative where we are coaching a bit of autistic people to help them get into mainstream. So we are also trying to devise a lot of AI based training modules for them wherein they can quickly ramp up, right? So probably many of those they are not used to having you talk to them directly, right? Or many of them suffer from a bit of language translation issues. So then we also use AI for those kind of neural language translations, neural voices while talking to them, so that they are not intimidated that I'm talking to a very senior person, and then those kind of things. So yeah, a bit of that been dabbing into. But then, as I said, right, it's a growing field, and there's lots more that we can actually do with AI for accessibility.
Amazing project. Um, so a question about learning. In your job, you must keep learning and learning and learning all the new things. It's like in AI,
Yes.
and then for your job. How do you do that? Where do you start?
Right. So See, actually, that is with technology in any language, any field, right? Technology is evolving, and you have to keep yourself abreast with all the latest developments. And I think if you have the passion for it, you find time for it. As a starting point, I would suggest people who want to get into AI, you choose your area of expertise or area where you want to grow. So not all of them, can directly jump into programming as ML engineers, or not all of them can get into the data science field, right? So earmark areas, right, where you want to probably you can get into AI pre-sales where you are an SME, a domain expert, wherein you know how to solution a particular deal, but then you leave the nitty-gritties of the deal implementation to probably people who are adept at programming or that kind of a skill set, right? If you are really passionate about maintaining or building your machine learning models, then probably you can go with ML ops, which is also a very evolving field. So choose your area, and then there are a lot of ways for you to get into that and start right from scratch, right? I mean, you have Coursera courses, you have plural site videos, you have Microsoft documentations, and then here in Singapore, Microsoft with iTrain Asia has been launching certification courses, free training for their AI 900, AI 102 certification courses to upskill especially women in AI. So there are a lot of these plethora of these initiatives out there, which all the cloud computing platforms have come out with to help you ramp up, at least get into the starting path of AI, and then from there you can build on. So I know a lot of people who are self-taught data scientists. I mean, people came from an advertising background and are now absolutely kick-ass data scientists in my company. So they did their learning from scratch. So people identify that I'm good at, grasping Python. So in my previous workplace, not with Avanart, so I was working with an insurance company. So there I had a person who was an executive director level of CFA guy, certified financial planner guy, and he's never touched programming, and he suddenly had this use case where he was supposed to look at the footprint of Nike sales online, and that triggered him to get into web scraping and Google Analytics, and eventually into data science AI. And now he's absolutely a top-notch data scientist, hacking away in Kaggle competitions and winning medals there. So
Oh, amazing.
if you if you identify the right problem, and you choose your area where you think you will thrive and will be able to make a contribution, I think there's a lot of open source material out there where it can help you get into AI.
Amazing. So what would your view be? So do you have to go to the university and study AI to work in AI?
No, not necessary, right? So, for example, look at me. I did my engineering and then my master's in IT systems. So I was nowhere, even close to AI. And then it so happened that, I was at the right place, right time, getting into right projects with big data and Hadoop, and then Elasticsearch, and then finally MVP and AI stuff. But that does not, so a lot of fresh graduates which I'm hiring right now in Avanart for analytics, both data, AI, advanced analytics, IoT, right? So most of them are coming in, some of them are coming in from mass media background, some of them have come in from probably economics or finance background. And so then they tell me that I love data science, or I love doing statistics. Some of them are maths majors, so they have been very familiar with statistics. PhD in computer vision, some of them are a PhD in computer vision sort of thing. So diverse people coming in from diverse industries, but we have a common starting point for all of them. As I said, right, establish a foundation, a base for technology, wherein you know the basics of design technology principles, and that's all you need to start getting into AI. So even if you're a college dropout with a passion for Python programming, or Python or passion for technology, still you can easily get into data science AI. Absolutely, there's no stopping any barrier for a degree or an advanced degree or something like that. But that
Amazing.
doesn't mean I'm discouraging you from going to advanced education.
No,
don't quote me for that.
No, exactly. But it's really nice that you illustrate all the different roles that are involved in AI. Like I always say, it takes like so many people to actually deliver and run the AI system in production, so that
Yes.
you need those people trained in all the different fields, like people who actually know how to run models in production and run them securely, people who write Python software around it to actually be able to use the model, and then the people that can actually craft the models itself and
Correct.
train the models. So we're almost at the end, and the Bit of AI show always ends with like 3 lightning questions to get to know you a little bit better. Are you ready?
Sure. Yes.
Okay, here we go. So, what was your first computer?
Oh my God. So it was operating system. I remember it was Windows 2000. Yes. And it was that huge computer with a, I probably it was 8086. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, it used to occupy half of my desk. Yeah. But yeah, I don't, it was, yeah, I don't remember the exact make. Sorry. But yeah,
No, Windows 2000, that gives an excellent indication of the time frame. It was a
yeah, yes.
great operating system.
Yeah, it
Okay,
was. It
yeah,
was.
next question. What are you going to scale up next on?
Right. So I am going to scale up next on Azure IoT and digital twins because, as I said, those are the upcoming areas, and lot of our clients are asking for that. Okay. So currently we are pitching real-time video analytics using IoT to a retail giant in a European country. So yeah, so that is something which I am currently preparing for, all geared up for IoT certification.
Good one. It's a lot of fun working with IoT. I always like when I do that, like the physical thing you have, and then the software, and both come together, and you can build it all from scratch. So always
Yeah.
really cool. Um, Last question. What was the last programming language you used?
Okay, that is not a very difficult one. So yeah, I always program in C sharp, whether it is machine learning also. So I use Synapse Analytics where I use C sharp as my language. So yeah, so last just 2 days ago, I
Oh,
programmed using ML.NET and C sharp.
excellent. C sharp. Popular choice, popular choice. Um, this brings us to the end of our short interview. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to get to know you and talk about
My
AI.
pleasure.
Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next conference.
Yes, absolutely. Waiting for that.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining the A Bit of AI show today with Priyanka. Thank you so much for joining the A Bit of AI show, the show that is all about the people that work in AI. Do you want to get notifications when new episodes arrive? Hit the subscribe button.